Now let's transition to another player who's really hit the Timberwolves social media world the past couple weeks with how he's really been training this offseason. And that, of course, is Jaden McDaniels, who we've been seeing a lot of social media clips of him training this offseason with his trainers, most notably a video of him training with his twin, Kawhi Leonard. So both of them, they're connected because of Jaden McDaniels and Kawhi Leonard's trainer, Clint Parks. And of course, there's nobody who I would prefer having as Jaden McDaniels' mentor than Kawhi Leonard, outside of Kawhi Leonard's brand dealings in the offseason with the aspiration situation. Yeah, Jaden McDaniels, don't listen to Kawhi Leonard on that front. But just, it's obvious, right? Kawhi Leonard, his stoic personality type, Jaden McDaniels, the defensive identity, the untapped offensive potential. Nobody really knew what Kawhi Leonard would be offensively in the NBA when he was at San Diego State. But then he comes to the NBA, really develops into a high-level two-way superstar. And I think the top, standard deviation of Timberwolves fans, Jaden McDaniels fans in particular, including myself, see that vision for Jaden at his max potential, that Kawhi Leonard archetype, somebody who can be a versatile, dominant two-way defender, competing for all defensive first teams, and be a top two option on an NBA contender. That version of Jaden McDaniels is in him. And I think this year, year 6, we're going to learn so much about whether that vision is going to be a legitimate thing or not, because it's been kind of a roller coaster with that. Year 1, it's like, Jaden McDaniels, very intriguing. And then year 2, Jaden McDaniels becomes, very intriguing. Second year, really good playoff series against Memphis. And then he had a great year 3 where he looks like he was turning a corner till he punches a wall, breaks his wrist. And then year 4 was, frankly, really disappointing. Minnesota had a great year, but Jaden didn't transcend offensively at all, despite making all defensive second team. And then last year, despite a horrid start to year 5 offensively, Jaden McDaniels really seemed to turn a corner, of course, between January and late February, when the team was kind of hurt and they needed him to play a more primary role. He was giving Minnesota 18-8, and he really started flashing what he could be as an off the dribble creator who can defend, and most importantly, for what Jaden McDaniels has lacked, rebounding. He proved to be an excellent rebounder when he really wants to, turning into a 6 rebound a game player last year, getting 8 in stretches when he's asked to. And Jaden McDaniels is such an interesting case because the talent is undeniable. But the thing with Jaden McDaniels, for the better or worse, when you ask him to do something, he's going to do it. For example, you need Jaden McDaniels to score in the playoffs. He will get you 30 against the Lakers in the playoffs. Multiple 20-point games that series. He had multiple 20-point games in the conference finals. Jaden McDaniels, when he wants to score, can score. When he wants to rebound, can give you double-digit rebounds. There's no reason why Jaden McDaniels couldn't be this 19-8 player. And honestly, my belief is if you ask Jaden McDaniels to be that player, he can consistently be that player, be somebody who can give you 19, 20 points and more rebounds and all of those good stuff. But the question is, will he get there? How much can Kawhi Leonard rub off of him where he can quietly dominate a game to that extent? Because Jaden McDaniels, unlike a Kawhi Leonard historically, can float in a game. He won't be engaged off the ball. He won't really bring anything despite awesome defense, which might not pop out to the eyes very often if it's just solid, but it's clear he's capable of more. And I wish this could be a year where I can make excuses for him, like every other year, why this isn't working. He's out of position. He isn't asked to score. But at the end of the day, he's turning 25 years old soon. He's in his 6th NBA season. It's now or never for Jaden McDaniels. This is the year we're going to know whether he can be that complimentary star next to Anthony Edwards or he can't be that complimentary star. And I think Chris Finch, it's going to be his responsibility to help Jaden McDaniels position himself to be impactful. I personally believe Jaden McDaniels is a natural small ball four who can get those rebounds, score within 18 feet because he's highly gifted at that. But Minnesota, this team isn't about catering to Jaden McDaniels. This team is about catering to winning basketball. And Julius Randle needs to play the four. Naz Reid needs to play the four. Rudy Gobert isn't going anywhere. Jaden McDaniels has to fit around these guys if this team's going to work. So a lot of it's up to Jaden McDaniels. How can he fill the gaps? And I think we've really went too far on the spectrum on how he fills the gaps. Like Minnesota needs shooting. Have Jaden McDaniels in the corner. Have him space the floor. He doesn't need the ball because other guys have the ball. That can't happen. Chris Finch has a responsibility to have Jaden McDaniels consistently engaged, making sure he does get opportunities to play the four in certain spots, to make sure Jaden McDaniels is roaming off the ball, honestly forcing him to do backdoor cuts and to play in the flow of the game. Some of that is Jaden McDaniels, I would assume, just not being active enough off the ball. But I'm sure some of it is also what he's demanded to do. So making sure Jaden McDaniels is consistently engaged off ball at the game, whether he's at the three, whether he's at the four, that's going to be so critical. And Jaden McDaniels, if this team works, he needs to shoot the three ball. He needs to shoot the three ball. I know I'm Captain Obvious. I'm speaking just the most evident sample I can give you. Jaden McDaniels has to shoot better. He can't shoot 32% from three again this year. He needs to be that 38.2% three-point shooter like he was last postseason. Because if he can do that, the space will be open, which will also allow Jaden McDaniels to do what he wants to do with Randle and Gobert on the court when the spacing keeps the defense consistently on its toes. So I think Jaden McDaniels has a super critical year. I think it's great that we've seen these videos of McDaniels training, with the Clint Parks, with his NBA trainers. He's clearly grinding this offseason. I think he's probably aware of how important year 6 is for him. And consistently training with Kawhi Leonard, like, could we get that Kawhi Leonard rubbing off of him in terms of being able to be aggressive without changing who he is as a player? Like, we love Jaden McDaniels being sort of a psycho sometimes, who can be a little impulsive, but 99% of the time is like a stoic killer. We love that. Can we find a way to channel that defensive energy onto the offensive end? And if Jaden McDaniels can be another ball handler on this team, because at the end of the day, this team can never have too little ball handlers. We saw how lack of ball handling affected them against Oklahoma City when there was that high-level point of attack defense, frankly, all the way from the half court in that playoff series in the Western Conference Finals. It's a critical year for Jaden McDaniels. And like Rudy Gobert, it's really great to see that he's clearly working this offseason. And that's just been the trend with this team. It really seems like year one with the Cat and Rudy experiment, we went into year 2 and the offseason was quiet. Everybody's wondering, will they trade Karl Anthony Towns for Scoot Henderson? Thank the heavens they didn't. Of course, that season turned out to be a success, and Scoot Henderson is a massive question mark in Portland. But it's really fortunate that season worked out. And what worked out, what really separated that team from year one, is the continuity factor. That team had a full offseason. They came into the year healthy. And another underrated financial aspect with that team is not many people were worried about their money. There weren't looming extensions. And even last year, there were looming extensions. What's happening with Naz Reid? What's happening with Nickeil Alexander-Walker? Even politically, how is Rob Dillingham fitting into the mold? There are questions financially with that team last year a little bit, and they still made the conference finals after a slow start. But this season, Anthony Edwards is paid. Jaden McDaniels is paid. Naz Reid is paid. Rudy Gobert is paid. Julius Randle, how could I forget him? He's paid. So the team is healthy coming into this season, it seems. They're aligned, they're working, and they're healthy. I mean, if you're a Minnesota Timberwolves fan, you can question the point guard position all you want. Those are reasons to be excited.